Chris, Ohio, you're on the Wilkow Majority. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
How you doing? Yes, I listen to you a lot. I've called in a couple of times when you really get me going. I'm actually trying to work, but you made me pause for a minute here. I have to totally disagree with you. Well, I have to disagree with you, not even totally, with what you're saying about the whole social justice thing. Me and myself, and let me get this out real quick. Me and myself, I'm from a single-family home. My dad left when I was 2. My mother, when she got pregnant with my younger sibling, she lost her job. So when my dad left, my mother needed help. Not because of what she did, but she needed help for her kids. My mother went back to school. She ended up working 3 jobs, went back to school. But in the meantime, we had welfare, the food stamps, free lunch, and we eventually graduated off of that stuff. And I went to college. Now I'm making 6 figures. I pay a lot in taxes now. But the help that I got, that my mother received, was not because she was out doing something irresponsible. She was a victim of something my dad did, so therefore money was needed to help pay.
Well, why wasn't your dad ordered by the courts to pay for your mom and his children?
Oh, believe my mom, he did. Eventually, my mom had to track him down, and she eventually found out. I remember him calling the house upset when she tracked him down, and his tax return was garnished because my mother tracked him down to get the money. I mean, but in the meantime, while you're tracking him down, we still had to eat. And so, while if it wasn't for the free lunch that we got when I was in school to concentrate to get the education, so I could turn into someone participating and contributing to society, as opposed to someone sucking away from society, I think that was money that was well spent on the government. Now that I'm an adult, I'm making over 6 figures, and I'm able to pay my taxes, and so I think I'm able to reach back now and contribute to those who need help now. So it's not always just an irresponsible person. You got a lot of those, so I agree with you on that one. If you're irresponsible, I understand what you're saying.
You're missing it, Chris. What you're saying is, if I don't want the government to do something, then I don't want it done. Meaning, if I look at government as an inefficient way to solve social problems, then clearly I don't have any care or concern for social problems, is what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you don't have a care. I know you care, Andrew. What I'm saying is that there's a need for government to assist people.
But government has restrictions on its powers. What is the origin of debt? What have I done? If you're going to tell me this story, and now government comes to me and says, you owe a tax to solve that problem, how did I fall into that debt? Just tell me. Legally speaking.
Well, Andrew, I don't claim to be a constitutional scholar.
No, we don't even need the Constitution here for this one. I'm asking you philosophically, how does the government impose that debt on me by law, saying to me, you now owe this portion of your income to that social problem over there?
Well, I don't think it's not the government's going to look at each individual item as an individual issue. So they take in the tax revenue, and then it's up to the government to determine where the help is needed. And in this particular case,
so the government can take whatever it wants from the people and help whoever it wants, and that's what government does.
No, because if we don't like what they're doing with our money, then we have the power of the ballot box to get those people out of there.
Yeah, but when you have a situation like we have at the federal level, where 47% of the people aren't even paying any taxes, what do you mean if we don't like? You think the people that are on the programs are going to vote the program promoters out of office? I'm asking, and I'm not talking about democracy, sir. I'm talking about philosophically, in the life of 2 people, where does government come in and say, you owe that person?
It's not about do I owe. I mean, Andrew,
you're missing the point, Chris. Chris, if I live next door to you, and my kid is playing in my yard, and my kid throws a baseball through your window, you and I now have a controversy over that window, which means I'm in debt to you. My child broke your window. My child is a minor. That means as the responsible parent, as the legal guardian, I am now in debt to you for the cost of that window because I have damaged your property. I'm asking you, regardless of the heart-tugging story you just told me, I want to know what controversy happened between person A and person B, or me and you, whereby which now the government collects money from me in your name.
Well, you want to go to a subdivision. There are things that my homeowners do for my that I pay for my association go to, I don't directly benefit, and it may benefit another neighbor.
That's a private sector thing. You don't have to live in a house with a homeowners association, sir. That's not government. Your homeowners association can't put you in jail.
It's the concept of being part of a community is what I'm saying. Now, we are a community, whether you're talking a local community, a state community, or a federal community. We are all part of a community to help each other.
So the irresponsible people have nothing. The government never imposes anything on irresponsible people. If you've got somebody who has 5 kids they can't take care of, if they have a 6th, they get more money. Where does that money come from? It comes from the responsible people who have to manage the size of their...
I'm going to tell you this. I pay more in taxes than my mother made when I was a kid. And if you couldn't get me to trade my financial situation with my mother's...
Do you ever notice that we're only in a community when you're talking about what you're taking from someone? How come, no, I'm on the other side of the community here. How come I can't say to the irresponsible people, hey, community, can't you be responsible over there? Can't you watch your behavior? Can't you not do the things that you're doing that are costing me money? No, that's cruel. That's mean.
No, hey, I would have, as a liberal, I almost am if we would put some sort of restriction on how many kids you have.
No, you can't do that either. That's the thing about liberty. It's the maximum absence of coercion, sir. You're missing the point about coercion.
I don't disagree with you in theory when you talk about people being irresponsible and taking on the actions or when you make your bed, you lay in it. I understand that. What I'm saying is you don't want to paint with a broad brush and say that everyone out there who's accepting government help is some sort of lazy person that made their bed and they lay in it.
You're missing my point again. Thank you very much for the call. Third hour next. We're right. They're wrong. That's the end of the story. The arguments cannot be broken. Sirius XM Patriot.